What would be so bad about being with me? The question we have asked every crush who did not want us. Obsession is a must-watch theater experience. This is a movie I will be rewatching for many years to come. The premise is extremely simple. We are introduced to a young man, I'm assuming nicknamed Bear because I know his mama didn't name him Bear, practicing his speech to make the girl of his dreams, Nikki, his girlfriend. Determined at first, he quickly loses his nerve. Though she never actually rejects him, the fear of rejection and the awkwardness between them always weighs heavily on him. In a moment of desperation, he uses this gimmicky collectible he bought while searching for a gift and wishes that she would love him more than anyone else in the world. And before he could blink, his wish actually comes true. For everyone who has had a crush or wanted badly for a person you like to love you, know what's meant to be will be and just let it go. The pacing of this film is exceptional because her behavior becomes increasingly unsettling. She seems almost possessed, and nothing about her mannerisms or the things she says feels remotely normal. I also like how the script is very character driven. We follow these four friends throughout, and by the end, you get a solid understanding of who they are. Even though their storylines feel textbook and predictable, they're executed very well. Now, at the start, Bear is living out his dreams, and he is completely swept away by it. Imagine your fantasy. Imagine texting that crush or that person you've been liking this whole time, responding to you in that way. You would definitely go for it. However, as the movie goes on and her behavior impossible to ignore, so is his denial and self-delusion, which is impossible to excuse. A wish born out of desperation, then held in malice, is desperately undone as fear and regrets take hold. Everyone's reactions make him feel insecure. It's like he's constantly trying to prove something. But the fantasy he built in his head about them being the perfect couple slowly turns into a nightmare. There was never anything to suggest she loved him romantically, even when the truth became obvious through her behavior, her lies, and the warnings from people close to her. He only doubles down. He clings to the illusion of the relationship, constantly asking if she loves him, desperate to believe the unhinged version of Nikki he created is still real somehow. But deep down, he knows that the person he's talking to is not her. I like how the film plays on the idea of possession on two levels. The first is spiritual, a person becoming inhabited by a foreign spirit, and the second is more literal and psychological, the belief that you can own another human being, that love gives you the right to control, define, or possess someone else. The film blurs these two meanings together so that emotional obsession starts to feel just as invasive and violating as supernatural possession. At first, we want to believe Bear is a good guy, but his obsession with Nikki is rooted in what he believes is good for her, which is him. This persists despite her clear objections. A lot of what guides Bear is anxiety, fantasy, and control, which are the hallmarks of obsession, not love. Despite being overtaken, the real Nikki still breaks through at times, making it clear this is not what she wants. Those moments only deepen his insecurities, forcing him to confront the instability of the reality he's trying to hold together. I love how the film balances humor and tragedy. He bought this wish stick in this tiny boutique shop run by the most unprofessional employees imaginable. And in his defense, when he actually starts trying to look for a solution, his impulse isn't to make himself fall in love with her in the same way, it's to reverse it. But it's to reverse it in a way where he still has some control. He still wants her to see him as a close friend or just a friend. It's only after he exhausts every possible way to make it work that he starts looking for a solution. It takes him so long to get his ego out of it. The emotions Nikki displays throughout, although extreme, reflect patterns commonly associated with obsessive and abusive control. Something that can be seen in all these characters. At first, he's able to tolerate her behavior as long as no one really notices. But once he can no longer control her outbursts, or once they become unpredictable, he starts to want out. It's hard to tell whether that's because he genuinely cares for her or because he feels humiliated and hates the idea of people thinking she wants to be with him because she's ill. The duality around possession is explored through all of these characters. His best friend, for example, with whom she's been hooking up with. He can't understand why she would choose him, so he clings to the idea that he still has control over her, and that Nikki is only with Bear to make him jealous. The same idea can be explored through Sarah, who has a crush on Bear but refuses to acknowledge his bond with Nikki as real. She convinces herself that she knows what's best for him and that she is what he needs. It comes from good intentions, but ultimately rooted in her own assumptions and emotional bias. And with this film, I really didn't know how it would end. No doctors were called, no specialists. This isn't even. There's no exorcist. Bear was really hoping it would all just go away. Nikki's behavior becomes homicidal, and the world they've created is not at all open to the supernatural. The moment it turns violent, you realize someone is going to prison. What makes the film so unsettling is the way it grounds everything in reality. The grounded tone is what makes it feel horrifying, and the ending left me speechless and hopeless. If Nikki can only be saved through Bear's death, and the ending requires everyone to die, the film is basically saying that possession and obsession can't be resolved inside a relationship, they can only collapse. Bear's idea of saving Nikki is still a form of control, even if it's framed as love. And Nikki's destructive behavior can be read as the mere response to that control, resistance, escalation, and breakdown. So when everyone dies, it strips the fantasy away completely. There's no version of this dynamic that survives intact because possession requires erasing the other person's autonomy. The ending suggests that once love becomes ownership, the only way out of the system is total rupture, not reconciliation, not redemption, but collapse. In that sense, the film is pretty bleak. Obsession doesn't transform into love, it burns it out. And I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. It looks gorgeous, the cinematography. And again, I highly recommend you watch it in theaters.